Hey, how you doing? This is John and welcome to John's Long Box. Today we're going to look at The Creeps, issue number 12. This was $5.95. This is winter 2017, 17-18. The world's best artists and writers. All right, so look at this. This is a great Frazetta cover. For those of you who don't know, Frank Frazetta. Everybody here, whether you realize it or not, has seen Frazetta's artwork. The guy's a legend. You know, he did that famous Conan poster and everything. Just amazing. I love Frazetta. He's, to me, is like the gold standard of fantasy author. Just, and to me, like his Conan and John Buscema's Conan are the two Conans that stick into my head. All right, so my little preamble whenever I talk about this. This is by a Warrant magazine. So when I first saw this being solicited, you know, I scroll down the list in Discount Comic Book Service. I thought it was Creeps by Warren magazine, so I thought they were revising it and changing the name for some sort of reason. So by the time I paid attention, and then of course my comics go on these stacks over here, and by the time I started to read them, I already had like 5 or 6 issues, and I realized that I got hoodwinked. It's not Warren magazine, it's Warrant. So I was like, oh well, you know, I liked it anyway. I was already hooked. They employ a lot of the same writers and artists from Creepy and Eerie and all those old ones, but of course a lot of them have passed on. So you know, but it's not as good, but it's as close as we're gonna get today. So with that being said, I was tricked, but I don't mind. No harm, no foul. And the old Warren magazines, they would do this. They would like if there was a lot of zombie stories, they would have like a little historical blurb about the zombies. So this is a little historical blurb about sorcery. I really like it. So Jeff Easley and Artie Goodwin. This is the credits over here. We already know the indicia, 2017, 2018. So this is far enough in the past that I don't mind showing the whole comic. This is an official back issue. So here we got the covers by Frank Frazetta. And, you know, there's all the artists, but I'll show you in each story. This is the Historic Horrors, Dear Old Creep, and the Dead Spake Fake News, Enemies of Rome, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein Castle, Monstrous Affair, Ripper's Revenge, and Vampire Planet. So, letters page, you know, I do not know any of these names. I just finished reading this. And I got to the Roman story when I said, I'm going to showcase this. So, legendary cover artist Basil Gogos passes away. Oh, I just sent a message to Brian Bow because I was like, oh no, Basil Gogos passed away, forgetting that this comic is 5 years old. So there you go. And he was just like, didn't he die already? And I was like, oh, okay. And I couldn't remember why. This is why. There you go. So we can buy some back issues, subscribe, and here we got the first and the Dead Spake. Okay, let's look at the Mike Dubitch story adaptation by Artie Goodwin. So this is an old comic, an old story that is being translated. So, you know, again, I like the art. Nothing. I don't mean to be mean to Mike Dubitch, I'm sure if I'm saying his name wrong, but the old Warren magazines, they would have just filled this up like Al Williamson. I could just imagine this is good though. So this guy made like some sort of chimera, you know, and he's beating it, and this guy's like, wow, you know, the jaded scientist is not. The new scientist is not as jaded as the old scientist. Let's put it that way. And what is he talking about? He hired. It's very awkwardly told, if you ask me. So he's got this old crone of a maid, and she talks a lot and everything. And he's like, yeah, she got arrested for killing her husband, slicing his throat, but she wasn't convicted. He goes, so I surround myself with this woman because she won't murder me. The logic is so bad. She won't murder me because she doesn't want to be around a corpse again. She's not, you know, they're already going to be suspicious of her. But that's just a real clumsy way of saying that this woman killed her husband and got away with it. So he invented a machine now that it could read the bumps on the brain like a phonograph and replay thoughts and memories like a phonograph. So here we go in it. He's going in. He's tested things, you know, and listening to the thoughts of and it's just plain Tipperary. And then they realize that this soldier must have been whistling and got hit with shrapnel and killed. So the machine works. There was an air raid siren, and a Zeppelin dropped a bomb, and it killed the maid. So he's like, oh, let's, her brain is still fresh. They decapitate her. Look how horrible this is. They decapitate her. They hook her up to the electrodes, and she starts laughing and talking about how she actually did kill her husband, and she likes to kill. And he walks over to adjust the wires, and he gets electrocuted. Da 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 da. Not the best story. This story was a lot better. Nothing against the art. The writing wasn't that bad. Reno Maniquis, and story by Don Glut. I do not know who these creators are, if anybody knows, but this art I really do like. It's very I don't know, like realistic. You know, it's not cartoony. I dig it, and it looks really good for a Western. You know, the fake news. So where do they go? This guy robbed a bank and got away with like over $1 million, and this is 1887 money. And he's like, I'm not telling you where, you know, let me live and I'll tell you where the money is. He's like, no can do. So they hang him. Poor guy hangs till he's dead. And he thinks that he's going to have a fake noose. So that's why that guy is like all cocky about it. So this is the hangman. And they're like, here's your money. Get out of town. It's not good for the hangman to be. He's like, yeah, I'm going to take the body with me. You know, he's like, okay, yeah, take the body. He's got no next of kin, and you'll save us from the effort of Baron. So he takes the body, and he prays to Baron Samedi, god of the dead, and Damballa, the serpent god, and he makes him into a zombie. And he commands him to lead him to where the money is hidden, and the $1 million. So the zombie's pointing and pointing. He's going through the desert. And the only reason why this has taken days, and the only reason why he's not decaying is because of the magic. You know, he's saying his will is overriding his need to decay, so he's overriding, and he's taken him to a cave. This was a poorly drawn picture over here. This particular picture I didn't particularly like, but the rest of it is excellent. And he goes in, and here is the Wells Fargo money. He's like, yippee! Look at all the money! Look at all the money! And he doesn't see a snake comes and bites him. So now, as the poison's going through it, he can't talk, he can't command. He's trying to ask the zombie to help him, and the voodoo spirits are laughing at him, and his will is broken, and he decays, and he dies. Da 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 da. You know, big deal. Here's the Frazetta Museum. I looked this up. This is only like maybe 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours away from me. It's open through May through November. So I better get going. This is October when I recorded this. I should call up, see if I can drive out there on a weekend. Sundays would probably be the best. I would love to go see that. So Enemies of Rome. This is the story that made me want to showcase this comic. So it's the gladiators. This is the Emperor Primus. Oh no, this is the benevolent Emperor Domitian brings about the features, and this is the big fight. So this is Manasur Dominant and story by Jim Duffy. I like the art. The story was my favorite. So this gladiator is Spiculus. And he's like, if he's like, Spiculus has been fighting brave. If he survives today, I'm going to give him his freedom. He's like, my freedom. And then the audience is like, we don't want him to be free. We want to watch him fight. So they all boo. So he's like, if you give him his freedom, you're going to have a riot. So he fights, and he just goes berserkowitz. You know, just goes berserkowitz, cuts the guy's arms off, stabs him, and then they throw the corpse into a vat of just decaying gladiator bodies. So it just must stink. They say there's 100 years of gladiator bodies just decaying in this pit. So he's like, you know, I'm not going to give you your freedom. Here's some money instead, you know. So Spiculus, is that how you say his name? Spiculus is like, you know, next week you're going to fight again. So he's like, I'll never get out of here. So he's praying to Pluto. He's like, Pluto, I'll offer you a sacrifice. You know, I can't live as a slave anymore. I can't live. So, you know, so now he's like, by the power of Pluto, I will not fight today. I will not be your toy for your amusement. Then I will win. And he just gets stabbed right to the heart, and he dies. And they throw him into the pit. You know, but he comes back because he prayed to Pluto and he sacrificed himself. Pluto resurrects him, And they're like, everybody in the audience like, what the hell's going on? And the pit of zombies attacks. You know, this Roman zombies, you know, I just love it. And he's like, kill them all, kill them all. And all the zombies, like 100 years worth of gladiator bones. And of course, they killed Domitian. And he just laughs. He goes, he was afraid of a riot, but he died by a riot. Da, 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 da. And here's another story by Nick Poliwako and story by Nicola Cudi. Nicola Cudi did the E-Man cartoon comics that I really, really like. I really like E-Man. So this, I was like, oh wow, that story was good. And then they followed it up with this that I really liked. So Mary Shelley and Frankenstein's Castle. So this is Lord Byron's party. So it's Lord Byron, his dearest friends, John Polidori, Mary Godwin, which is Mary Godwin before she became Shelley, and Claire Claremont to join him in his villa in Switzerland for a few weeks of recreation. So she's like, I'm going to go for a walk. He's like, you don't, stay out of the woods. You're going to get lost. And she meets Frankenstein. So this is before she wrote Frankenstein. And Frankenstein's like, wow, look at this hot chick. And he brings her to the Baron's castle. And the Baron's there with Igor. And is like, I want this woman to be my bride. I want her to be. He's like, we can't just go kidnap. People are going to look for her. And she looks like high class. He's like, what are we going to do? And she's like, he's like, we can't let you go. He's going to riot, So he showed, I made him. I sewed him together from dead bodies. He's like, go to the purple room. It's the best room in the house. I'll fix this. But they're afraid of the creature. So he goes up. She goes up into the room, and she's just like combing her hair, and she sees in the mirror, I am Pandora. Oh, so he goes by the name of Prometheus, and she goes by the name of Pandora. That's right. And she's like, I'm created to be his mate. He goes, you will not take him from me. And she goes to strangle her. And he's like, oh no, what am I going to do? So he jumps in, and he's like, don't worry, I fixed it. I fixed it. Don't worry. And she's like, if this is just a trick to spare the girls, I'll kill everybody. So they go out into the graveyard again. And now, they bring him all this stuff. And Frankenstein's like, how can I, you promised me a mate, but she's broken like me. We can't have children. What good is this? He's like, she's incapable of having a child. He goes, oh yeah, look, I made a child. So they made a little Franken baby. So now he's like, look at that little freaky kid. He's like, I have a wife, I have a child, I have a family. So he's happy, and he's like, yeah, you could leave now. The creature won't mind. Prometheus won't. So she's like coming home. Oh, what's going on? She's like, I have an idea for a story. I have a fantastic tale to tell you. And that's, the secret origin of Frankenstein. I like that. I like that story. That was a good one. A Monstrous Affair. This one was almost good, almost really good. It just didn't end right. By Carlos Valencia and story by Artie Godwin. So, famine, disease struck the land of this like low fantasy. He's like a Conan stand-in. He's a Zane warrior or whatever called, and he goes to the castle of his king. So he goes to the castle, and he's like, because of all this pestilence and everything, you got to get the missing Kaz stone. The MacGuffin, which is the power to give fertility and everything like that. And you can have my hot, sexy daughter as your bride. He's like, hachi machi, I'm going to go and do it. So he's riding off to find the person. So a diplomat came in, acted all friendly, and then stole the Kaz stone and left. So they kind of know where it is, at least who took it. So he's following off there, and they find these two, like, raiders, bandits, messing with this girl over here, hot chick. So I love this. He just hits him in the face with the sword, just rips his face apart. The guy's like, ah! And she's like, oh wow, you saved me from the bandits. I'll take you to my castle. So what are the odds? Her father is the diplomat who stole the Kaz stone. So he's like, yeah, she saved me. I was about to get murder-roonied by these, they were gonna do other stuff to me and then murder-rooning me, and he saved me. And she's like, all right, we'll give him a room. The least we could do is, put him up for the night and give him a feast for saving you. So thinks it's too suspicious that he just happened to show up from the kingdom where the Kaz stone was stolen from. So he's like, I'm going to go to bed. Thank you very much. And he sneaks off down the middle of the night. He's looking through all the treasure, doesn't find it. And he's like, this guy, follow him. Go into his room and, like, keep him from stealing. He's like, yes. Yes. So she does what a good daughter does. And, he's like, here I am. And they're doing the lovey-dovey's. And it turns out that she falls for him. And he just tells her, I've come to take back the Cause Stone. You could come back with me to my other kingdom. She's like, okay, I will. Here's the key. It's hidden in this false brick. So he finds the magic MacGuffin. Magic. But she can't leave the castle because she's really dead. The stone was the only thing that was keeping her alive. She died for her love, and the king was also really dead, and the castle was falling apart, so without the magic. And then, this is the part that I don't like. So he goes there, and the king's like, oh, you can have my daughter. Nah, I don't want your daughter. I just did a good job. I was in love with another girl. So he fell in love with the other girl, even though she's dead. So, and he's like, da-da-da-da-da-da. And here, this is, prologue. So this is it? I forget, when did Jack the Ripper? Was it Victorian England or yeah, it was Victorian England. So he goes up to the lady of the night, gives her the money, and she's like, okay, here you go. And he's like, turn around, and she's like, oh, you like her from behind? Very well then. And stab Rooney, and there's a witness, and the witness follows. So he's like, get in here quick. Get in here. So this is the actual murder, and these are the witnesses. Like, get in. So Ripper's revenge. So what they're saying is like, we saw you stab that girl, and that means you could join our club. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I'm a friend, and we're all Rippers. So these are all people that were suspects of Jack the Ripper. So they're all sitting around the table, and they're all talking, they're showing off their powers with the knife. Marcus Adams, Chief of Surgery at St. John's. Robert Cleary, if you know me. My name is John Taylor. I'm a chimney sweep. We compare stories, and we teach each other, and, help each other out. You want to join our club? He's like, okay, So here they are practicing with dummies. Like, you sneak up behind it, you slit the throat, because you carry around the bag, faster, you gotta kill faster, you won't make it. And he's like, okay, now that you trained up and you're not just an amateur Ripper, like, look at that. And they're like, oh, I want her, you know what I mean? They're all fighting over the prostitute. And then boom, a knife, an axe, an arrow, and there's a group of prostitutes that all band together to protect themselves. They will call themselves the Brotherhood, and they're calling themselves the Sisterhood. The Monster Bash. Nope. And Vampire Planet. So it is the year, what year is this? 2153. So it's in the future. And the vampires they said there's less than 100 vampires on the earth because of technology, because these drones fire silver powered lasers, whatever that means. And so he just fed on this girl, and now the drones are coming out and killing him, and he manages to turn into a bat and fly away. He's like, it's because of modern technology, because of like all of this, it's getting harder and harder and harder. So he's sitting in his home lair, and he sees like, come to the colonies, colonies, only the bare essentials. He's like, oh, this is good. They don't have enough technology there. Maybe I could go to the colonies, and it'll be like it used to be back in the Old West. I'll be able to, feed with impunity. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So he signs up. I just love the way he just dresses like a vampire. Doesn't think to disguise himself or anything like that. So he's on the shuttle, for the months long journey to the colony world. And he wakes up, and there's people dead. He's like, who killed him? He looked like he got bit by a vampire. Don't suspect the guy who looks like a vampire. And one by one, everybody's dying. So he's just feasting on the ship. And he's like, why didn't you kill me? He's like, because you're the only one who knows how to fly the ship. But now I don't need you anymore. So they landed, and he destroys the ship. And he goes to sleep. Yeah, he goes to sleep. And he wakes up. He's like, why do I feel so emaciated? What's going on? Oh, I'm burning. There's 23 hours of sunlight. There's only 1 hour or 24 hours of sunlight on this planet. It doesn't rotate. So he landed on the sunny side. He's like, yeah, this is like the 9th vampire that had this idea and died. And he has past covers. And then Death Dealer revised Frank Frazetta. And that's it. I like it. I like this magazine. It Creepy had better art. Creepy had better stories, but this'll do for now. This satisfies my horror urge for a little bit. it's some of the stories are kind of hokey, but this particular one I really enjoyed. So there you go. This is Creeps, issue number 12. I'll see you tomorrow with another video, guys. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.